Germany and France have warned Donald Trump against threatening Greenland after the U.S. president-elect refused to rule out using military force to seize Denmark's autonomous territory. China's navy has been spotted in the surrounding area. I mean, yeah, this is crazy. Could you imagine if we went in to take over Greenland and we got, got defended by China, Germany, and France? To me, it just goes to show you it's like the reason we're seeking that land is for the mineral rights, in order to, have security in that area because China and Russia's right there. And the West, we're supposed to be the West, and we've supplied Germany and France with tons of safety and protection and for who knows how long. And now they're going to fight against us in order to get Greenland. I mean, we need to get military bases in there and control their, the mineral rights. I don't understand why they'd want to take China's side. But okay, you once thought allies, to me, that's just exposing themselves as enemies against us. I mean, come on. Thomas Massey and several GOP colleagues pushed proposals to require dual citizenship disclosure by political candidates. So if if you're a citizen of here, but also somewhere else, you should have to disclose that. So that way we can see if, you're going to have incentives that don't align with America. I think that's pretty common sense. I don't know why that hasn't been a thing yet. I mean, wow. President Trump is pissed off at Russia's President Vladimir Putin for lashing out at Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky this weekend. He told NBC News in an interview, it's like, only I can beat him on the top of the head. This is Trump. If Russia and I are unable to make a deal on stopping the bloodshed in Ukraine, and if I think it was Russia's fault, which it may be, but if I think it was Russia's fault, I'm going to put secondary tariffs on oil and all oil coming out of Russia. So that was Trump's response. MAGA Republicans are displeased after Trump endorses Lindsey Graham. Turns out people don't like it when politicians play the field based on who's in power rather than just doing what's right. I mean, who would have guessed that? Bitcoin is at 82K. Tesla is at 257. Elon Musk accuses Netflix of anti-white propaganda in its new series, Adolescence. The show was about a black migrant who stabbed a girl on a bus, but in the show, they made the murderer a white guy instead of being black. So, pretty much sell your Netflix stock and, promoting that brainwashing, poisoning our youth Netflix. In summary, Trump's family turns to Bitcoin mining. Maybe this is your sign to get into Bitcoin. They're doing it. YouTube is set to surpass Disney in earnings this year. Is Disney on its way down? I don't know. YouTube. That's where I go. I love YouTube. I watch YouTube all the time. YouTube, and there's another one, Rumble, which is a little bit, it's like you can do either one, but yeah, YouTube's a good thing. Local news, marijuana plants, firearms, and evidence of cocaine sales were seized from multiple residents in Tulare County after search warrants led to an arrest of 4 active gang members. So this is what's interesting about the story. So Fernando Moreno Morales, 25, Carlos Farvan, 24, David Vilma, 24, and Alejandro Gutierrez, 35, were all arrested in Tulare County Sheriff's Office March 28th for alleged involvement in the illegal drug sales. So what's interesting is I saw this, and then in the picture, if you look up this case, you see all their drugs and stuff, and then under what they're on is the Cesar Chavez Union flag. So maybe they're selling drugs because they lost their job. I don't know, but it's just interesting to me. These people go hand in hand. They're like, we're fighting against, I'm not gonna get into it. You know the whole spill. Bakersfield Police Department is asking for public's help in search of missing siblings, Michaela and Araya Dummer. That's their last name, it's Dummer. Were last seen on March 29th in the 1100 block of Matthew Hudson Drive, police said. So, and also to these kiddos who have been gone now for a while, they have no record of running away. Sex trafficking's on the table. That's sad. I want to start a number list. Like, I'm going to start a number. I'm going to write it down of all the times they find out that it was sex trafficking. Because sometimes these people run away. Sometimes there's just kids running away. Sometimes it's like a divorce and one kid goes to the other family member. Okay, I'm not going to count those. But when it is drug trafficking, we figure it out. I'm going to write it down and mark it. And I'm going to have a count. So that way everyone will know. Like this year we've had, however many. So people can really see like how much it's really going on. It's terrible. So a bit of history. During this segment, I usually get online and I look up, on this day in history. And sometimes I'll kind of decide what I write based on what happened in the news that day. So if, something happened geopolitically, I usually go along those lines. But today I searched and the first thing that popped up, I didn't go digging, was the history about when Spain first expelled the Jews in 1492. Now, I know this is a sensitive subject right now with Candace Owens and Kanye and a few others, going hard in the left, going hard against the Jews. But let's just look at this unbiasedly why Spain kicked them out in the 15th century, late 15th century. In 1492, Ferdinand II and Aragon of, sorry, King Ferdinand II of Aragon and Queen Elizabeth I issued the Abraham decree mandating that all Jews be expelled from the country. This comes not long after they had conquered the kingdom of Granada, finally freeing Spain from the Muslims nearly 800 years for 800 years. It is estimated that 40,000 Jews had left Spain and sold off their property. This just so happened to be the same year that Christopher Columbus discovered the Americas. It was a good year for the Spaniards, I guess. Even today, there are only 40,000 Jews in total that reside in Spain. To give you a comparison, there are roughly 7.5 million Jews in America, 500,000 in France, and 118,000 in Germany. Wow, 7.5. There's more Jews in America than there are in Israel, which is their home country, which that's interesting. The reason behind why they wanted to kick the Jewish people out was not only because they were not Catholic, but according to historians, the Jews held positions in banking and were subject to fewer regulations involving loans. Spanish Catholics believed that the Jews had too much economic influence over their kingdoms, and this resentment combined with religious prejudice led to their expulsion. So, same old story over and over again when we've heard it so many times. It's crazy. And we all know what happened in World War II. And, ever since I was young, I was always told by people in my church and even my, parents and everybody that, Jews were the chosen people, which I know it says that in the Bible. And in the ending days, it also says that the world will actually turn against them. So, it's interesting. Could this be the beginning of the end? I believe this is the beginning of a major political shift on the right and maybe the left as well. Well, I know it's on the left. But I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on the subject. I tend to rush into topics that I'm not particularly supposed to speak on. So for this touchy subject, I really am interested in what your opinion is. And I know I don't usually do that, but yeah, I'm actually interested in what your opinion is. So message me or, on Instagram, or if you have my number, call me, whatever. You could either agree with Candace Owens and the side of the rising movement against, Israel's big money and how they influence our government. Then, there's also their tradition, and then there's the side of the traditional conservative, which is, that, we should protect Israel at all costs, right? So maybe get a hold of me and inform me on what your perspective is on this. After COVID, I think we're all questioning big corporations. I think that's what brought this about. It's like, we know that people with lots of money, corporations with lots of money, they can shift the political opinion on things and they seek to do it. And they're almost like playing a video game with the way we believe, with what we believe. And now that the internet's came along, that's becoming harder to do and they get exposed more often. And so I think it's causing us to ask questions. But I know even around me, like if I start asking questions, it makes everybody mad, so it's the way it is, but you can't stop doing it. You got to ask questions. It's good too. It's healthy. On the left, they blame Israel, and then on the right, we blame Soros. So who do you blame? This is the Paint the Town Red podcast. We hope you have a wonderful Monday. Thank you.